How's everybody doing today? Let's get right to work. I have a little smudge. All right, we're going over just what's going on for today. White collar layoffs. Dini won the New York mayor's race. Pizza Hut in trouble. Uber falls, which really hurt my Lyft position, despite third quarter revenue beat. Norway to reject Elon's 1 trillion Tesla pay package. Dick Cheney dies. Is this updated? No, it's not updated. Yikes. Democrats won big election night. Ozempic maker lowest growth outlook for its weight loss drug as pricing pressures mount. McDonald's earnings. IBM cutting. Cava cuts full year guidance. That's not good. This chick. Oh wow, she won, eh? Surprised she won. I mean, people are just not. I mean, it was just feels like it was a Republican versus Democrat. People are just not rolling with the Republicans. I mean, it happened locally here too. Pinterest going down, down. The Cruises got. I mean, everything got crapped on yesterday, but Cruises got hit hard. So nothing really too notable in the news, if I'm being honest. So let's go to the charts. To the charts we go. Sorry about that. Let me clear my throat. Okay, let's see. Let's see if the the absolute beatdown continues. As we had the gap, the failure to close. It was QQQ rejected from the pre-market high. But SPY did close the gap. I think that had a lot to do with semi-weakness. We do have another gap down open. the hourly. A little bit of back and forth. So I mean, yesterday was interesting in the sense where we had this little higher low. Bulls bought the dip, which I mean, I was actually buying Apple, and Apple was really weird yesterday. Um, but you had the rejection here, and then just a complete sell off, which I guess was sort of expected. Almost got down to this level down here. Did not quite get there, but now we're bouncing, and it's not very clear. But we know what bulls want to do. Bulls want to get back into this range. Jeez. Maybe come down something. A close back inside of yesterday's range would be a win for bulls here. Trying to stop the bleeding. SPY here. You can see SPY basically rejected right off of this level. The fact that I didn't hit this short drives me nuts. It was just the stronger out of the two, so higher high right off that level here. If we go to the 5-minute chart, we can see if there was anything to really attack. Yeah, I mean, there was definitely like a wedge coming up into this range here. This little rising wedge with the bear break, and then on the bear break. You know, one of the tough parts, people say wait for the break, but when you get the breakdown here, getting back in on the lower high is not an easy task because you want to make sure that you have at least a decent RR. And more times than not, the stop has to go above the highs here. So, like, I mean, let's say you get on this little lower high, like, I've seen this little lower high get, like, just completely annihilated all the time. But if you're waiting for the confirmation there, you're just looking for any type of lower high, put your stop under here, over the top, and then maybe get back down to the lows. That's 3 to 1. It's not too bad. And then as for like the trend change, yeah, I mean, a little trend change here, sideways range here, bear break. There's your back test. That was a pretty good entry right there. So yeah, going back to the hourly chart, not very clean. Let's get rid of some of these levels. Not very clean. SPY also a gap down. Seems that bears might be getting a little bit tired here. And again, I mean, yesterday there was some rotation going on, clearly. XLF and XLV were up. IWM was down. Bitcoin was down. Let's look at some of these indices. Talked about Google yesterday, trying to get down to this little gap fill level. That actually happened pre-market here. Then you had the fake out. I tell you, there's always that fake out. There's always the fake out. Like, you got to be careful. It's something that I just see all the time on these on smaller time frames, like, which makes it hard to trade sometimes. Like with the rising wedge on SPY, it's like, oh well, where's the? I mean, but in itself, a rising wedge is the fake out, right? But this is a bull flag, bull break, and then right into a dump. So at that point, you could play any type of lower high and put your stop over this structure. Google with some strength compared to QQ as we are opening in range. Tesla got whomped yesterday. Still stuck in this range here. Once again, we talked about an aggressive short potentially being off this rejection here. I mean, the hourly just doesn't really give you much. Like the hourly is just gross on this chart. That's why I like the 5-minute, because it has more clarity, but there's just so many more fake outs. So there's a lack of clarity in that sense. Amazon going down. I botched this trade. I wasn't confident enough in it for whatever reason. I think it's because I know I'm just like from a daily standpoint, it's just still a very strong stock. But it was like I was thinking more of a scalp, and I got a little bit greedy, and that's kind of what the problem was. I got in right here, and then I ended up just selling, like, not in a good spot. But like, if I get in here, I should expect price to get down here. So got this little pop here. Had my stop above here. I was looking to get down here. The ratio wasn't great. Wasn't anything fantastic. How is it doing in comparison? So gapping down. Nvidia gapping down. Nvidia is the name I shorted, but I could have done better. Spent too much time watching my work and not just letting it play out. But it looks like it's going to go ahead and touch that level, which is so gross. But you had the same thing, that little fake out. You had the reason I like this trade, and I'm bummed out that I didn't hold on to it for longer, was because you had everything you wanted. You had the aggressive bears being stopped out right there. Then you had the aggressive bulls over pre-market, over the highs here, getting stopped out. Then you had this little base here. I believe I got in like right around here, which was a little early, and I had my stop like up here or something. Not getting it clean is one of the issues. I just need to get in clean. but Nvidia still weak. Meta opening in range. Once again, rejecting from the 200-day, looking to fill the gap here. So we could see like an open, a push down, and then like a bull day. I can see something like that being something on the table this morning. PLTR still getting whomped. Big gap down. Breaking support here, barely. And we are right at the lows here. So it looks like there's a battle for this level again. Looks like the bears are winning. And now you're right back into this range. So there's definitely a world where we kind of chop around here for a little bit, and then you see a bull break with no follow through, right? I mean, of course, something stupid like that. And then we get back down here, and maybe even come down here, because this level right here was protected quite a lot. So I would expect there to be still some bulls here, but at the same time, you could say the same thing about down here. Microsoft. Okay, well, lead bull this morning. That's for sure. So Microsoft is interesting as it did. I mean, these correlation things really like just fucked me yesterday. They did. When QQQ was going down, Apple was going up. When QQQ was going up, Apple was going down. And then again, when QQQ was going down, Apple was going up before it then hit resistance and then faded down. But still, like, what in the world? So you can see that Microsoft is actually up towards the high of its range here. Closed green yesterday after a gap down, battling this 50-day, but in like quite the zone here, right? I mean, we marked out that 505 level, didn't quite get down there, but interesting. Not a lot of volume on that candle though. Large. So there is a case to maybe go with Microsoft, but again, those correlations don't always work. They help and they work a lot of the time, but not always. Then we have Apple. So you can see we did a lot of Apple. I mean, Apple was tough yesterday. If I just get over my fear of making moves pre-market, then I'd be doing much better and being more comfortable in trades. And what I mean by that is, you could see yesterday we bounced off this level here, and then we came back over, and then we were kind of setting this higher low. So the play would have been to get in around here, put your stop underneath here, using this as a level of interest. So let's say you get in here, like right around here, you put your stop here, and then the goal was to get to the high of previous day. Oh, Jesus, come on. High of previous day, which was right. No, that wasn't it. I think it was right here. Yeah, so not the biggest move, but it would have worked. Now looking at this chart, just looking at this chart here, it kind of has an inverse head and shoulders look to it, doesn't it? It sure does. And you could almost break it into brackets here. You have left shoulder, here's your head, and here's your right shoulder. So yeah, you can see we had the bull break here with no follow through, but I like the fact that it was off the EMA. It's just the problem is I let the pre-market go, and then at this point the market opens, and my I was leaning on the side of bulls going to buy the morning, and you could see that it ended up being a quite tricky morning because this happened pre right beforehand, which really threw me off. And then like I just tried to get in here and ended up getting stopped out break even, but like you could see that it had this little lower low here with no follow through into this big move up, which is always fantastic. Um, it stops everybody out and then it doesn't let anybody back in. That's like the MO. But it was sort of a with that being said, it was sort of a some sort of wedge. But in like while you're looking at the chart, it just doesn't seem like that. With the low, no follow through, you get the bull break, you don't get the back test, so you'd have to buy the. You would have had the. You don't want to buy the break without a close, right? Unless the volume is really pouring in, and you could see the difference. But even the volume was never really pouring in, so I mean, this is what makes things tough, right? Like your stop should be under here with a buffer, you know, which I like to use an ATR buffer, but the ATRs are seem to be a little bit too much. So let's say if you had it there, and then like it's one, it's not even a good trade. But if you put it underneath this level here with a little buffer, then it becomes a little bit better of a trade. Like about it being there is that if it breaks that level, it doesn't invalidate my trade thesis. What is my trade thesis is it breaking the lows. So I hate putting my stops in places where it doesn't invalidate the actual play. But then you run into RR issues. That's the issue that I've been kind of mentally having with that. All right, so as for the bulls today, what did we say? We said let's get a new page here. We need to start writing this stuff down. All right, so we said Microsoft. So positioned well for bulls in a bear environment, short-term bear environment. So we have Microsoft. Closed green, near highs, but no pattern, right? But then we have Apple, and Apple has what looks like a 1 hour/4 hour inverse head and shoulders. And again, going back to that, we'll get rid of this here again. Let's bracket range here. I mean, it's still holding the 9-day. And again, this looks like an inverse head and shoulders. The 4 hour isn't as clean. Bet you the 2 hour looks good. Yeah, there you go. So it's left shoulder. There's your whole entire head. And then up and away. And again, I can also see something happening where we open, we flush down, we break 267.62, pop back up. I mean, everything has to be so complicated. Like it can never just be easy. And they say the hard trade, the good trade is the hard trade, but always watching out for these fake outs is exhausting. All right, the other theme here is just focusing on the weakness, right? Guess we can go over, let's go over quantum again. Quantum bouncing a little bit. RGTI get down to the level that we thought it would. It did not yet. Down 10%. We talked about this trade yesterday that we said it would be somewhat difficult to get into, and I wasn't wrong because my God, it was. You had this opening candle, which was gross. You had the bear break here, tricking all the bears. Bull break, 5 minute high or low, lower high, tightening, 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 holding this level, which looked actually really nice. Fall back down. This was a little bit tricky. This was your go signal, I guess. Just had some volume to it. Yeah, just a battle here. I guess you could say this is a little EQ, and if it breaks bull, I'm out. If it breaks bear, I'm in. And then you get this big, nice move down. This is a little bit scary of a candle, where you break to a new low. Oh, no, you don't break to a new low. But at no point did the 5 minute trend change. So even this, so what happens to me sometimes? I have these levels here which throw me off, but like just following the trend, like the sideways and down, and then the back test, and then down, and then there's your little lower high right here. So if it has to break that, it does not. Lower high and down, and then here is your trend change right there. The trend is your friend. But these are hard to trade, these names. They move fast. AMD might be an interesting play today with its gap down here, losing some strength. I mean, this is definitely a lot of back and forth here. That broke bull, did gap up. There is a volume node like right around here. So with a gap down and then a volume node right around there, I wouldn't be so eager to go short. Let's check and look at some IBIT looking pretty good. I did actually buy some IBIT yesterday. Because I liked the, I'll tell you what I looked for. I looked for daily oversold conditions on Bitcoin. And I didn't buy it here. I bought it there on the double bottom. Double bottom, daily back burner. And that could mark the higher low, but we'll see. So Bitcoin, these Bitcoin names could be somewhat of an interesting play today. Boy, did coin get like just whomped. I mean, here you go again here, right? So I was actually looking for this coin trade. I was looking for this little like a higher low like right around this day, and it just never really came to fruition here. And then you could see that it stopped everybody out who got in on this higher low right here, and then just ran right up, just like that 5 minute chart we talked about. It literally goes back to saying like, you know, put your buy order where the stop is, where the stops are, and then you'll be okay. And then you have this big move up, almost impossible to get in on any of these unless you're just playing the momentum game, which is uh, a lot easier to do on the daily time frame than it is on any other time frame. Because, like for example, right here, even though the most likely scenario is a daily lower high, the fact that you got this stop out and then this big candle here closing over the 50-day, you could say to yourself, I'm leaning bullish today. You open pretty much at top of the range, you get in, and then maybe you sell half and then you let the rest ride. And then you get all the way up to the gap fill. And then, so you get the fake out here. And then on the way up, you fill the gap. You get this nice little bull flag. You get the bull flag confirmation into complete selling. And there was really no resistance above either. So just a trap. And when you see that trap, you see this big flush and you come all the way back down here. And you get the lower high off of where? Off of previous highs. So it's always hard in this scenario here when you're saying to yourself, okay, well, where am I looking for a lower high? So you have that, you have that, you have a lower low, lower low. There's your lower high. So this one is off the 50-day. Hey, and off. So it's double confluence. Yep, there's your double confluence. And then there you go. And I mean, you would want to take at least some off there. And now we are here. Definitely a lot of support down here. Don't really love it for long here. Monster looks very similar. This stock is beginning is it's ass whipped. I mean, same thing here. Bull break over structure, looking real good. Looking for the back test. No dice. You break below. There's your lower high off of this range. I mean, that isn't actually. Does it go right to the? Oh, look at that! Wow, Jesus. I was not watching it. Look at that. Right off the POC. The thing is, you just have to wait for it. Like these little guys are tricky because it looks like you missed a move here. And honestly, a lot of the time, I'll get in on like this one, and then I'll sell here, and I'll be happy about my trade, and then I won't look at it anymore, and then the next thing you know, it's way down here. Ride's been one of the stronger names. Trading inside of this big range here. Hut. Wow, Hut's up to $48. Jesus, I remember when this thing was like $2. It had earnings and they beat. Oh, yesterday it had earnings. Wolf, another decent one. How's McDonald's doing on earnings? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Beat McDonald's Monopoly. This team losing the 200 day. This is a nice little fake out here too. Where it's 200 bear break. No dice. No dice. Gap up open above structure. No dice. God, how do you get around this shit? Ugh. All right, so nothing really on crypto in my opinion. I already have a position. So we have gold actually moving up here. Okay. So again, this gold in this range, we're still looking for like, I mean, at this point, it doesn't really look like much. Kind of a weird looking chart. How silver actually has more of that look, doesn't it? Like silver definitely has a little bit more of that look. Ooh, sorry about that. I had a really weird morning. All right, so we got to find some shorts still, just in case. We'll look at these in a little bit. I just want to take a quick break, see if anything else on the portfolio is getting freaking murdered. I'm not really doing much of anything. Just barely gap ups. CCJ continuing to go down. Keep an eye on CCJ at 90. We have that. Okay. Where's my camera? Uh, um, why don't I have access to that feature? Uh, like I don't have access to anything. Huh. I don't know why it won't let me. I don't want to end the stream because it's going to stop sharing real fast. And then I want to set up overlay for your breaks. This overlay would need to be integrated in your third party. I don't know why it's not working. I was able to do it before. Okay, well, I guess I'll be right back then.